Today we are doing our favorite steak recipe, which is American Wagyu tri-tip with Red Tuxedo.
All right, so we're just gonna get a nice coating on our tri-tip. You can be generous with this. Like Mark was saying, the quality of salt and the quality of ingredients here, you don't wanna overdo it. You wanna taste it, but you can be generous with this.
You don't want all of this beautiful seasoning to just fall off the meat. So what we do is we sprinkle it on and you let it sit for 10 minutes. The salt actually wicks some of the moisture out of the meat and it dissolves some of the spice and it sticks to the outside. So you use the moisture from the meat to be its own glue for the seasoning.
We're gonna do a reverse sear on the tri-tip, reverse sear. But what we're gonna do is cook it off heat, okay? It's gonna be indirect. We're gonna get it up to temperature where we want right before it's done, and then we're gonna take it off, let it rest for just a couple minutes, and then we're gonna sear it really fast, get a nice crust, Maillard reaction.
Here's how we do it on this grill. Over here, there's no coals underneath the steak. It's all fire over here.
That's right.
So it's gonna get this ambient heat, and we did the thickest part of the steak closest to the hottest part of the fire, so we don't overcook these little tails. So we're gonna bring this up to about 120 degrees, and then we'll pull it off and let it rest before we sear it.
Well, we're gonna let it rest for what, about 5-6 minutes, maybe 10 tops?
Yeah, now we've got this super lightning hot over here.
This is at least 550, don't you think? 500?
At least 550, 600.
Yep.
And all we need to do, since the meat is almost cooked to the temperature we want it,
Right.
just give it a beautiful sear. We want that Maillard reaction on the outside, that beautiful crust is gonna be the perfect combination with the tender, rich Wagyu fat on the inside.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna throw it on. You
Throw
ready?
it on, man. All right, for those of you that don't know, we just put this tri-tip on a really hot grill. We're looking for something called the Maillard reaction. Now, the Maillard reaction, Mark?
All right, I'll take it from here, because it's science. It's not his thing.
Not my strong
So,
suit.
the protein in the outside of the steak caramelizes with the heat and makes this sugary, crisp, dark crust that tastes delicious and also gives you a nice offset texture to the rich, medium rare inside. Listen to that.
Hey, bring that boom. Can you just bring the boom down? Bring it down. Thank you. Oh, come on now. That's just not fair.
Tri-tip is one of several steaks where it's extremely important to cut against the grain. And the reason why you cut against the grain is it gives you smaller fibers of meat. Small fibers equal tender, long fibers equal tough.
Right, long fibers equal hard to chew.
Exactly. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this piece off here.
Well, it's typically made up of how many muscles, Mark?
Well, it's tri-tip, so 4.
Right.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that, waterfall. Go here.
Yep.
All right, now check this out. That way. So what you see here, you see the long lines on top, and then you can see the muscle fibers coming here. So if I were to slice this way, it would leave these long muscle fibers intact.
And you don't
be
want
super
that.
tough. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna turn it, and we're gonna
go
cut
against the grain.
All right, here we go. Ready?
Go ahead.
A lot of people ask us why a steak at home doesn't taste as good as a steak at a restaurant. There's a bunch of reasons. You gotta have good meat, you gotta cook it right.
You gotta know how to do it. Yeah.
One of the main things is at a high-end steakhouse, they season the steak after it's cooked as well as before. That's why maitre d' butter at a high-end restaurant is used all the time, because there's salt and fat in it, and you've got all this char, and the salt and the fat that's fresh and hasn't been cooked wakes everything up. So we're gonna hit this with a little bit of olive oil, a little drizzle, and then just a little bit of that Red Tuxedo again at the end. It's perfect medium rare. Again, low and slow. So you get these nice, look, you get pink from edge to edge. We call that coast to coast pink, right? Sear at the end, you can actually hear and feel that crunch.
Oh my gosh.
So you have that other texture. The Red Tuxedo, perfect amount of salt, a little bit of heat, offsets all that fat in the Wagyu, and it's perfectly balanced.
I'm just now getting a little bit of the Szechuan peppercorn, just now.